Hey everyone, welcome to High School Dropout's advice. If you need subtitles, please click on the subtitle button right here. The subtitles are still there, but sometimes need 1-2 hours to display. Ehang has announced their financial results for the fourth quarter on Friday, April the 16th, as you can see on their website and also on their Twitter tweet. Overall, we should expect more sales, more revenue, and closer to break even than they were before. What I also want to see is that research and development costs are increasing. I really want to see that they are spending more money to keep their edge in the business. The business outlook from the CEO would also be very interesting to know for 2021. So we will need to wait for a little until I can tell you what I think. Other than this, we see green markets again, and we broke the 4,000 mark in the SP 500 for the first time ever. So there's a lot of optimism on the market, whether in the stock market or real estate. All seasoned investors expected many discounted assets. Still, the market was strong enough and rebounded relatively quickly. So all those old seasoned investors are playing empty-handed right now. I have said in my earlier videos that I don't think a housing market crash will happen. And so far, I am happy that I was right. The video is linked up here and in the description below. The most important you should do when investing is not to try to time the market. I always see so many investors waiting for the market to crash or real estate to crash before considering buying it. Too many people miss the quickest recovery of the history, but this is because people try to time the market and not average everything out. The better strategy is to buy every month. I'm a long-term investor and I built a passive income stream from rental properties, which generate monthly cash flow, which I spend and reinvest into stocks. If you are interested in building income stream with rental real estate properties, let me know in the comments below. Ehang is trading for around $36 per share now, which I think is pretty much the bottom. I will tell you more about what I think for the stock market and the global economy, but we have to talk about President Biden's $2 trillion infrastructure plan before we do that. We know that our president wants to create jobs in America and focus on internal politics. I totally agree with him and think this is what should happen. In every recession, the US has used major developments to create jobs and boost the economy. You might remember the Hoover Dam and the space race. Let's have a look at some significant numbers. $2 trillion is the price tag for the boost. At the moment, the US ranks 13th in the world in overall infrastructure. Let me show you quick the ranking. Usually when I do my researches, I like to share the things I found out. I want my viewers and subscribers to be educated as much as possible. All this knowledge will help us to become better investors. It's not the stock that made us rich, it's ourselves. We see Singapore, Netherlands, Hong Kong, and Switzerland are on the top 4 spots. Actually, this isn't so surprising because those countries are pretty small. Next, we have South Korea. And we remember that South Korea is already forward-thinking and thinks about having drone taxis. I will also show you later footage and an interview with Ehang being in Korea. We have a couple of mid-sized European countries and the United Arab Emirates before we see the United States. The United States is by far the biggest country in size on that list, so being on the top would have been more difficult for us than for other countries. But I still agree with President Biden. Everything that creates jobs and innovations should be boosted. We see a tax increase to 28% for corporations in the infrastructure plan, which tax increase should raise an estimate 2 trillion, which would pay for the 2 trillion infrastructure plan. If this works out as planned, we can agree that this will be good. 400 billion will go into expanding access to home or community-based care for the elderly and people with disabilities. 500,000 charging stations should be created with the infrastructure plan. As a stock, I can tell you to look into ChargePoint. As you can see here, transportation will get a big boost with this stimulus. Electric cars will get the tax credit like before, but maybe even bigger tax credits. We have to wait until everything is finalized. We will most likely also see that the ceiling of 200,000 vehicles per car maker limit getting removed for getting the tax credit of 7,500. Companies like Tesla and GM would be able to sell their cars again, where buyers will receive those $7,500 in tax credit. Water, internet and electricity will be boosted as well. I think this is a good idea. We don't want to experience a disaster like in Texas again. High-speed internet is also something every household should have access to. I live in Las Vegas and already have the best internet available, which costs me more than some third world countries with only 20% of their speed. In the end, we see some boost for affordable housing, schools and colleges. Affordable housing is a challenging project. I'm excited about how they want to try to fix this problem. Lastly, we see a lot of money flowing into the home or community-based care for the elderly and people with disabilities. If you are investing in real estate, these can be projects that would be interesting to be part of. I will look into this when this is written in law. The other funds target the problem we have, like climate change related, pandemic related, the semiconductor shortage and hate crime prevention. Overall, we have a plan which targets many key areas. No doubt that this will benefit the United States more or less. I hope that we will have excellent people managing this to get the most out of this $2 trillion plan. With this plan, we already have so many stocks pushing higher, as you can see here. As an investor, we need to understand that the government will change how they handle a financial crisis. They will fight the financial crisis with stimulus and stimulus. We don't know yet if this will work out in the long run, because this was not done in the same magnitude in history, so we don't know. But what I know is that if you don't invest while this is happening, you will be going out empty-handed. It has never been more important to invest than now. All those assets will increase in price. Money printing will result in inflation. It can be small or big, but the assets which are there to grab will increase in value because the amount of asset is limited. With more people holding cash, the desirable asset will increase in value. I feel that more and more people are getting financially educated and everyone is going for holding assets. One thing is also for sure, with all those stimulus in circulation, the gap between the wealthy and the poor will increase. People who know how to invest will be wealthy, and the ones who buy a car or a PlayStation will be the losers of the future. The problem is the people's mindset. So I'm really happy to have viewers hearing this message and considering this advice. As I always say, the stock will not make you rich. It's your mindset which does. This also applies to stimulus. With all those money printing, asset prices will shoot up even more. So I hope you understand this urgency. The government can only give everyone so much. If we fail to increase what they gave us, the gap will just be bigger between the one who could and the one who could not. So understand, it's not the government that makes you poor or rich. It's yourself. We should feel blessed to live in a country where the government is supporting us in this magnitude. Many countries cannot afford to help. At the end of the video, I want to show you a little Ehang clip in South Korea which pretty much confirms the sales of the recent 50 Ehang sales.
With propellers spinning, an electric-powered pilotless drone taxi took off into the sky above Seoul for the first time for a 7-minute test flight over the Han River. The Ministry of Land, Infrastructure and Transport and Seoul Metropolitan Government jointly hosted an event on Wednesday to present the technology.
The government is pushing to commercialize urban air mobility by 2025. We are holding this demonstration in order for citizens to actually see the development of UAM.
At this point, I have to say for legal reasons that I'm not a financial advisor, I'm just a guy on YouTube. Do your own due diligence and remember that your money is your responsibility, and please subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed watching this video. Please also share it with your loved ones and check out my other videos on my channel. Many thanks and see you hopefully in the next video. Thank you. Bye.